It's been weeks, and Dream still has not responded. Hopefully, that means his response will be extra fire, extra good, extra kino, and extra keck, okay? But I went on the Some Ordinary podcast with Mutahar, Oompaville, and Taku to talk about everything that's gone down with him, and given the fact I've covered him so much on my channel, I feel like it only made sense to try and get their take and see what they thought, and here's what they thought.
How's it going, Tom? How's your week been so far?
It's been good. It's been just a lot of stuff going on online, so just trying to like cover every story. I've been following the Dream allegations pretty intensely, and that's been like kind of cancerous to cover. I'm like super black pilled on the entire internet right now.
I'm working on a video on that too, and like I've not found any concrete evidence on Dream at all.
There is no concrete evidence that he is a pedophile that exists currently today. There's none.
Is there any actual like a victim or alleged victim that came out to claim this, or is it just
there are girls who are claiming to be victims, but they're having a very hard time proving that he knew their age, proving that he was like aggressively older than them in age, proving that he even sent them anything illicit in terms of materials. One of the quotes from one of the girls was something like, "I know what happened. I'm not here to prove what happened." And it's like, well, then shut the fuck up and get off Twitter. Like, I don't care about you anymore. Like, if you're gonna come out and make a public statement and like expect people to believe you, you need to have some sort of evidence. And Dream himself is not making it a lot better, but yeah, of course, if it's something serious, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, what people don't understand is like remember like 10 years ago when we like came on the internet and like you made a pedo allegation and it like shut up everyone on the internet. Like everyone stopped for a minute and they were like, "Wow, this is serious. Who did this?" Now it's like every week it's like there's a fucking, I mean, it's almost like, I hate to say it, but like the impact of the allegation is kind of almost lessened in a way.
No,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
When there's a new real guy, nobody's gonna believe it.
Yeah, like back in the day,
fake allegations are the people that are most affected by fake allegations are obviously the person that those fake allegations are targeted towards, but also every other victim in the world.
Yeah.
Because you're taking power away from legitimate allegations.
Well, it's like back in the day, like what comes to my head is like an actual like somebody with like a serious allegation. The last one that I remember was when remember Nick Crowley, like when he made a video about like that Plasma Master Don dude. It's like I remember that's when it was like really serious. But when people found out about it, it's like, oh my god, they vilified this person because there was some serious allegations and there was a lot of evidence provided in that. But I don't remember like exactly what time it was. Like I remember Basher, but Basher wasn't a pedo though, right?
I don't think confirmed or anything. That was way back in the day though. I mean, Lion Maker was a real one. EDP, obviously.
Yeah, like Lion Maker and EDP, when those guys came out of the woodwork and like all the evidence was
also the whole Smash House thing.
Yeah.
Whole situation.
I don't even know what went down with that Smash House to this day. I don't even understand.
Yeah,
the lore.
But like that's when like the allegations, like when it like stops the internet. Now with like Dream, it's just like a bunch of people make these allegations, and it's just like, you guys realize this is like serious life ruining, like defamatory, like accusations. Like this isn't a joke. But I guess people on the internet,
a lot of these people that are anonymous, that they're not going to actually face any repercussions to their actions. They don't like Dream or whatever, so they have nothing.
They're
to
also
lose
like
by
children.
trying to actually
like a lot of the people who believe this are like 15-year-olds, and when you're 15, hearing that like a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old dated, like that sounds like a file to you when you're 15, because like you don't understand dating, you don't understand age gaps, like. And so I think a lot of the people that are pushing this stuff are literally children on Twitter, because that's what Dream's audience was and is.
I mean, and it doesn't make it better because he does this weird like parasocial shit where he like tries to fucking get too close to the audience, you know, or it's just it's all like he gets overly friendly. He does these stupid like singing routines and all that stuff. It's just he thirst traps.
I don't want to say that he deserves what's happening, but he definitely like. He made his bed a little bit with the craziness, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
My kittens.
But like, hey, if he's not a pedophile, then I hope to God that he can clean himself from that stain. But
yeah, for sure, and I think he will. Honestly, I think he is going to post probably a pretty decent response.
Where are his friends? Where are his friends telling him to get off Twitter?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think with just like the level of his response to the whole like allegations of him cheating in Minecraft, I think that this will probably be like a fairly complete response.
Yeah, I think so.
He's gonna get a Harvard quantum physicist to prove that he never diddled children.
Well, he wasn't tweeting, or sorry, he was tweeting a lot, and I don't know if you guys saw Quite, who you all know.
Yeah.
He
I saw
he was in the replies, something to the effect of like, you just need to get off Twitter. People's patience is so small for stuff like this. Like, just get off Twitter, make the video. And that's true. Like, people out there are super fleeting, and like the amount of time you have to respond and the amount of attention that they'll give you is super limited. So you do really just need to make the response as quick as possible, and make it as good as possible in a situation like that.
Quote was on the podcast last week.
Nice.
We talked about
Well,
that.
I mean, he had a very perfect, way to go about it.
It's not out yet, so.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, well, I mean, making responses in timely fashions. I know all about that recently with like the f***ing completionist at this moment in time, because the longer that dude waits, the worse it gets for.
Has he not said like
fucking-
anything
Really
publicly? Really?
completed his career.
The guy has not said a single thing about that charity situation at all. Like,
Damn.
and what's funny about that situation is like everybody that like is on his camp who tries to defend it with me still cannot refute like the points me and Carl brought up. So it's just like. I don't understand, like, but in that situation, I understand, because like I've learned that, at least from that situation, that because of how insane some allegations can be, like in the completionist case, that's like legit 10 years in prison ass charity fraud. Like, we all know that, like that's like you're going to in jail. That's the government doesn't, if it's true, the government doesn't around with that once they audit you. And with pedophilia and a lot of these allegations, it's like, that's criminal, right? Like, I mean, if with pedophilia, it's different too. Like a lot of these like grooming cases, because it's like, how much of that is the like EDP with like all of his shit is still roaming around free, right? Like, he's been caught once, he got caught again by like Gideon, and he still gets to roam around free. So again, I don't even know in that case how actionable it is, but like, it takes time to respond to any allegation that I guess could land you, or any.
It takes time.
Any crime.
What you don't want to do though is like be like Dream, where you're arguing with like Gumball on Twitter or whatever. Like, that's a pretty bad move, I would say.
So the Twitter piecemeal response is never the way to go about anything. It always needs to be a response well thought out at one shot. This is going to be like your first and last word on the subject. That's really the only way.
It needs to be like very
properly
conclusive
do
for
something
sure.
like this.
Yeah, like if you have like if you have your ducks in a row, which again, my thing is like, if you've never committed a crime, if you never committed something, you should have a explanation. It'll take like a couple days for you to build your explanation out, but you should be able to get it out. If you're free of a crime, obviously. Like, the reason why people assume guilt is like the same thing with this completionist situation, right? Like, I made it very evident, me and Carl, it's like, hey, if you got the money for your charity, just present it and donate it, right?
Yeah.
But, that never got showcased. And now people are left to reasonably speculate. But the other thing is also like, if there is malfeasance in any situation, you can't make a false claim, because that's just going to be used against you when the fucking courts it, right? So,
well, I remember
I don't know, a lot of
when Quite got accused, so many people called him a rapist, and there was no evidence, like literally none. Like, I was like hundreds of thousands of people were calling him a rapist, and there was like not a single shred of anything that even went down. That situation was super
what I think
for
White
me.
did right though. Honestly, that was probably one of my worst experiences on the internet, seeing that go down.
People are so
like, it was
stupid,
worse
man.
than my
Fucking
cancellation.
I mean, the thing with the Quiet stuff is, I remember as soon as that shit happened, like, there was a bunch of DMs, like, because I leave my Twitter DMs pretty open, so it's just people like, when are you going to remove the episode with Quiet? I'm like, dude, nothing's confirmed. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way.
I got like 20 DMs saying, why are you still following Quite? And I was like, what? Who? What the? What is even this? What is this?
Why do you follow someone on Twitter?
Yeah, I remember you.
It's like
you
the greatest,
that about
the greatest endorsement of
me
is when you follow them.
I also follow like pretty much everyone, really, like all the bad people.
I mean, following someone just means you want to see their tweets. No, that's like it.
Yeah.
No, but like I remember Caleb messaged me. It's like, why are people telling me to unfollow Quite? And I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I just usually once maybe like I used to respond to stuff like that. Now I'm just like, dude, because I'm an adult. Okay, I'm waiting for actual evidence, and if it turns out my friend is a horrible piece of shit, then yeah, I'll do more than unfollow them. Yeah, like what the fuck? Like, if my friend is a real piece of shit, but I don't know. It's like, I always just tell people, I'm like, I know people beyond, like, there's some people like Quite I know beyond just like internet interactions. Like, I'll know who he is as a person. Like, I have a pretty good judge of character, I'll say. So it's like people will say like, oh, Tom is a racist, and I'm like, I know Tom behind the scenes, he's not.
He's very,
we know Tom behind the scenes. He is a racist, but hey, he has redeeming features.
No, but but that was just so blackpilling to see. Like, literally so many people believed it with nothing, and then they all flipped instantly as soon as they saw him respond. I think honestly,
That's because
he could have not even had all the evidence he had, and they probably would have just flipped, because I think they just want someone to bash and bully.
But that's the thing with the internet. It's like, especially Twitter. It's like, it's just misery loving company. Like, the people there that want people to fall, they just want to see. They just want somebody to keep punching.
It's sick. It's sickening. It's like stomach churning.
And I think it comes from this idea of like powerlessness, and they feel like this is the only way they can actually be powerful. Here you have this person that's successful and doing their thing and living what you want, what your dream is, basically. And you feel like, wait a second, now I have power, and with no repercussions, I can do my best to tear them down.
Yeah, but then like it was interesting to see that flip, because Quite was the one being called a piece of shit, and then as soon as he made that video, like the victim who like all these people had been supporting for like a month prior to that, like within one day they're all calling them a piece of shit and bullying them off the internet. Yeah. So that was super interesting to see how that went down.
You made a video on that, like, Nick is not green guy. I don't even know the whole story behind that entirely, but you made a whole video on his like response, like, and that's sort of the thing too. Like, if you're a creator and you're like cover shit like this, like really serious topics, then you got to make sure all the evidence is 100% on the fucking narrow. Like, and I'll say this from personal experience: anytime you cover somebody like with a very serious allegation, and I think I've only done like a case of sexual like malfeasance once, and that was with like Club Penguin, like stuff like that, where you're looking into like a character with Kavos. But that's like when we have a ton of like actionable like evidence to work off of, and we've also like you get the police involved in a situation too, first and foremost, because again, if you really want to help somebody going through the worst of the worst, you get the cops involved first. Then you worry about making a video afterwards when the legal stuff is already proceeding, right?
I mean,
100%.
And same thing with like financial like frauds too. Like when you cover somebody scamming their fans, it's like you want to make sure like the dumbest thing is like, did you report this to the police? I'm like, of course, you idiot. Of course I sent my shit to the cops before I made the video.
I love when people did that same thing. Like I remember I made the video. We worked on this together, Muta, finding that swatter guy. And I made a video talking about it, and people said, I can't believe you'd put people in danger by talking about a swatter. I only made the video after the police caught the guy.
Yeah, it's like the threat was neutralized, then you can cover it, right? Like, what the but I don't know. It's a weird thing when you're covering allegation stuff like this, and it's just, as a creator, like, you just jump in and you like perpetrate like something as a fact, and then it turns out like, oh shit, I was wrong all along. And that Nick is not green guy, according to like your reporting, Tom, it was like he just kept tripling, quadrupling down on this situation.
I mean, his problem was like he personally knew the supposed victim, and as a result, he just kind of wanted to believe everything that they said going into it. And I think it's okay to believe your friend like privately behind the scenes. Like if my friend told me that they went through something really horrible, I probably would believe them because they're my friend. But when you make public statements and you're talking in the public sphere, that's, you know, an entirely different ball game with a different set of responsibilities. I think that Nick could have reported that situation, but I think what he should have done has been like, these are allegations. I don't know the truth. I don't know what happened, because that's when, you know, when you're a content creator and you're reporting stuff, you have to, you know, leave the door open unless they're completely dead to rights, which is pretty rare. You have to leave the door open for that person that's being accused to be innocent, because we just don't know what went down. You know, I wasn't there, Muta wasn't there, Oompa wasn't there, Nex wasn't there, Nick wasn't even there, you know, in this situation, even though he knew the, you know, victim. And so it's okay to make a video, be like, I think this may have happened, but I don't know. I wasn't there. There could be some other thing going on. And that's what like been my stance with the Dream situation. It's like, to me, I have seen zero evidence that Dream is a pedophile. Now it could be out there. It could be out there somewhere in the ethereal realm, but I have to presume that he's innocent, because I don't know that he's guilty, right? He's innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. That's how our legal system works. I think that's how we should operate as, you know, we are YouTubers, but at the same time, we kind of take on the role a little bit of like a pseudo journalist now and then when we report this stuff. And if you're not doing your due diligence, people are going to lose a lot of respect for you and lose faith in you. And that's what happened with Nick.
And understandably so.
Yeah. With Nick, he was willing to just report these unsubstantiated allegations. He was half of his first video about Super Mega was him reading a Reddit post, basically compiling complaints with Super Mega, and he took everything in that Reddit post as fact. He didn't fact check any of it. He believed it all, and he ended up in the process supporting someone like Leighton, who, I'm getting really deep in the weeds here, but Leighton was like a pathological liar. He ended up supporting Morg Pie, who was also a liar. And then Lex, who, I mean, she did seem to have this like original problem of, you know, she claims she was sexually assaulted, and that could be true, but she packed it in with all this other shit and she tried to make the situation way more about Matt and Ryan when it should have been about her abuser, in my opinion. And all of that kind of conflated into this giant snowball of terrible shit. And the thing with Nick is like I've seen him like losing subscribers. I guess as a result of all the coverage on it, probably partially due to my video. I'm actually not really happy about that. I'm not trying to see him, like fail. I'm not trying to see him fail. One thing that bothered me was him and Lex were, Ethan is online, his friend, and Lex were on a live stream watching Super Mega sub count go down, like smoking weed and like dancing on their grave. And that really bothered me. And when I went into that situation, I didn't want to be like, I don't know. I don't want to be preying on their downfall. All I wanted was I wanted them to, correct the record and hopefully delete their videos about it. And Nick did delete his videos about it. He posted one like non-apology, which he then deleted. And then he posted another kind of slightly better apology in another video he did. And so the reason why I haven't gone and made like another follow-up video, like drama farming them, is like, I think the due diligence in that situation that needed to be done was done. Like the record is corrected. People don't think Super Mega supported a rapist. Nick is not green, seemingly is not going to be covering stories like that anymore for a while. That is what I wanted out of the situation.
I mean, like that, but I mean, like you shouldn't. Like I feel like the repercussions should be a little bit higher. Like if you cover a story like that, especially something involving something as serious as like and covering of that, if you misreport it, you should 100% be like slapped down by the community. If not even like
he did get slapped down, and that's what should have happened. I'm just saying, like I wasn't like counting on it. I was just like I need to tell the story accurately, because part of the problem for them is they got too invested in the game. They got too invested in winning. And I don't think you can do that. I think you need to just be invested in the process of like reporting the facts. Yeah. And Nick, in fairness, I mean, he did lose, I don't know, 10,000 subs or something. His videos aren't doing very well. He hasn't really been posting. So I think he is suffering from some sort of backlash, and it's probably deserved. But, I didn't want to be like preying on his failure, and same with everyone else in that situation. I was just like, I need to get the facts out. Whatever comes as a result of that is what comes.
I tend to wipe the moral like slate off pretty hard. Like I tend to like detach myself. Like it's the same kind of situation with like even Gerard the completionist right now, or like ever since me and Carl dropped those videos, everything's sort of like stopped over there, and we're just like, yeah, part of me like I do feel bad because like a lot of it is like basically imploding the career of another creator, but it's like this wouldn't have happened if they didn't f up, right? Like that's sort of the hang up you have to get past. It's like there are people like, why would you target a creator? I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like if they didn't commit this situation, right? Like
your video would exist.
This would never have happened. Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's not that I fabricated information out of thin air to like destroy somebody. No, this is like public record. It's out there. It was researched on, and it's like the question that I have. It's like it's the same way you described it, Tom. It's like you have some sort of an ethical responsibility once you have the facts in front of you. It's like then they have to be presented, right? Like my thing is like whenever something serious happens and you don't report on it accurately, or you don't do that at all after you've done your research, it's like then you're kind of almost complicit in something, right? Or like how different does that make you from somebody else that like covers up an actual like crime?
Yeah, and the thing is,
like, if you have the ability to report it,
if you're in a situation and you have sort of this conflict of interest going on, like Nick did, like he could have just not reported it, like he could have just not made videos, and that would have been fine. Or
he could have passed that information on to a fucking third party that would have been able to do the same thing, and been like, hey, here you go, work on that.
It's like sometimes when you're a judge, you have to recuse yourself because you have like an interest, like a financial interest in the case or whatever. Like I think as a YouTuber, it's okay to not talk about things sometimes because you're in too deep sometimes. And I think that's the situation Nick was in, and he really burned himself. Hopefully he doesn't do stuff like that again. Hold on, I'm gonna stick my nose in the camera. You guys remember this? So that when this Gumball voice actor, okay, the camera's just blurred, whatever, he like called out Dream, or whatever, he like called him a file directly. Keep in mind, there's no evidence of this. And then Dream responded back and like was like, you were like a drunk idiot who like was like insulting an Uber driver and was like homophobic and anti-Semitic. Which, keep in mind, like saying like the F slur in like Dream's community and people who hate him, like if Dream said that, it would be like so game ending for him. People would destroy him. But then once Dream produced proof of this Gumball kid like berating a random Uber driver, saying the F slur, asking Dream if he was Jewish, which, by the way, like I don't care about any of that stuff, really. Like I truly do not. But like that is stuff that anyone would cancel Dream for in a heartbeat. And nobody cared that this other guy did it because he was like going after Dream. And like this is the double standard.
Dude,
there's no principles.
That's what's so wild to me. It's like you gotta be really fucking vilified when another dude shows up and drops all that stuff and they still don't hate him over
exactly.
I'm like, you've got to be fucking hated
But it's just kind of
on.
like, because Dream is cringe, therefore he is guilty in people's minds.
And one thing that is good though, after seeing what you just said, what you're talking about right now, how there was like all the weird, just sort of, oh, it's okay, Nicholas Cantu does all this stuff because he's not Dream. And also, like, here's a plethora of other reasons of why it's okay. But if Dream did it, it would be the end for him. Now there is a pretty good group of people that I've seen that are kind of echoing what you, Mutahar, and Tom are both saying, how there's just no evidence of him being like a pedophile. It's like every comment or every section or whatever I see on Twitter or X, there's a couple comments that get traction where it's like, is there any evidence of this at all? Like there's a new kind of layer to it.
See, but the wild thing is, I think people like Muta or Tom that actually, again, they're not anonymous people on the internet. Their words have weight because they would feel the repercussions of what they say if they're wrong. So they're going to say there's no evidence. But people that have no reason to tell the truth, because it's not like their words will be held against them in the future, they'll just propagate this shit because why not stir the pot? I don't like this cringe guy anyway.
Did you guys see he unfollowed Tommy in it?
Dude, like
I don't know.
The thing about it is, it's like
defamation.
Did you just drop misinformation on the internet?
The thing about all this, and it's the thing about any discussion that we've had, and I'm glad that like me, Tom, everyone here really has mentioned, yo, is there any actual verifiable evidence of this? Is like, it really takes a stupid situation. I'm glad that like 12-year-old kids have blown it up to a point where adults are starting to see it and they're like, wait a minute, this is fucking stupid. Like, wait, like we can't act on any of this nonsense you guys are spilling out. So it's just, you know, there's a good silver lining, and there's finally like people outside of Dream Sphere, because I never looked up Dream after the fucking speedrunning fiasco, because I'm like, all right, anything after this is too fucking insane for me to cover. But this situation, it's like, I've been looking through it, and I don't even think the video is going to be as comprehensive on my end, because it's like the evidence isn't there. So a lot of me is just going through allegations, and I'm like, this is what the allegation is, this is the proof, and this is why you can't rely on this proof. Because it's like, people are sharing these like, okay, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but when you see like a screenshot, like a off-camera screenshot of a Snapchat, do you believe it? No.
I mean,
like,
not instantly.
In my head, I'm always like,
No, I do.
Oh yeah, I mean, true. Like, which by the way, I gotta say, if that's real, Dream, you are a horny motherfucker. Like, you were just sitting out.
I can never imagine doing that shit. That's so
like,
weird.
like, bro, you
That's
couldn't even
so
torture that
weird.
clip out of me. Like,
That is so weird.
but like,
Literally
it's like
moaning.
It's like people are like going off of the like moaning sound, and I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to believe this moan is Dream? Like, it could be anybody. Like, I don't have his moan print, bro. Like,
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck?
Like, I don't have any of that.
But it's also, I feel like it's so easy, because we're all in the content creator space. It's so easy to release fake shit. It's so easy. I don't know. That's why, I don't believe screenshots of DMs the same. I could
fabricate evidence so easily.
We could have so much fun.
I could destroy you guys.
Let's make a collab. Let's start a new channel called the Compendium.
Well, it's like
and we use voice changers.
One creator that I know.
And be sure to become a member. For $5 a month, they get the members only podcasts and exclusive videos that only members get. Thanks so much for your support.
No